alone or by combination of their contributions, say, with the work to which such contributions was submitted. If you institute patent litigation against any entity, including a cross-claim or counterclaim in a lawsuit, alleging that the work or a contribution incorporated within the work constitutes direct or contributory patent infringement, then any patent licenses granted to you under this license for that work shall terminate as of the date such litigation is filed. 4. Redistribution. You may reproduce and distribute copies of that work or derivative works thereof in any medium, with or without modifications, and in source or object form, provided that you meet the following conditions. A. You must give any other recipients of the work or derivative works a copy of this license. And B. You must cause any modified files to carry prominent notices stating that you changed the files. And C. You must retain, in the source form of any derivative works that you distribute, all copyright, patent, trademark, and attribution notices from the source form of the work, excluding those notices that do not pertain to any part of the derivative works. And D. If the work includes a notice text file as part of its distribution, then any derivative works that you distribute must include a readable copy of the attribution notices contained within such notice file, excluding those notices that do not pertain to any part of the derivative works, in at least one of the following places: within a notice text file distributed as part of the derivative works, within the source form or documentation, if provided along with the derivative works, or within a display generated by the derivative works, if and wherever such third-party notices normally appear. The contents of the notice file are for informational purposes only and do not modify the license. You may add your own attribution notices within derivative works that you distribute, alongside or as an addendum to the notice text from the work, provided that such additional attribution notices cannot be construed as modifying the license. You may add your own copyright statement to your modifications and may provide additional or different license terms and conditions for use, reproduction, or distribution of your modifications, or for any such derivative works as a whole, provided your use, reproduction, and distribution of the work otherwise complies with the conditions stated in this license. 5. Submission of contributions. Unless you explicitly state otherwise, any contribution intentionally submitted for inclusion in the work by you to the licensor shall be under the terms and conditions of this license, without any additional terms or conditions. Notwithstanding the above, nothing herein shall supersede or modify the terms of any separate license agreement you may have executed with licensor regarding such contributions. 6. Trademarks. This license does not grant permission to use the trade names, trademarks, service marks, or product names of the licensor, except as required for reasonable and customary use in describing the origin of the work and reproducing the content of the notice file. 7. Disclaimer of warranty. Unless required by applicable law or agreed to in writing, licensor provides the work, and each contributor provides its contributions on an as-is basis, without warranties or conditions of any kind, either express or implied, including, without limitation, any warranties or conditions of title, non-infringement, merchantability, or fitness for a particular purpose. You are solely responsible for determining the appropriateness of using or redistributing the work and assume any risks associated with your exercise of permissions under this license. 8. Limitation of liability. In no event and under no legal theory, whether in tort, including negligence, contract, or otherwise, unless required by applicable law, such as deliberate and grossly negligent acts, or agreed to in writing, shall any contributor be liable to you for damages including any direct, indirect, special, incidental, or consequential damages of any character arising as a result of this license or out of the use or inability to use that work, including but not limited to damages for loss of goodwill, work stoppage, computer failure or malfunction, or any and all other commercial damages or losses, even if such contributor has been advised of the possibility of such damages. 9. Accepting warranty or additional liability while redistributing the work or derivative works thereof, you may choose to offer and charge a fee for acceptance of support, warranty, indemnity, or other liability obligations and/or rights consistent with this license. However, in accepting such obligations, you may act only on your own behalf and on your sole responsibility, not on behalf of any other contributor, and only if you agree to indemnify, defend, and hold each contributor harmless for any liability incurred by or claims asserted against such contributor by reason of your accepting any such warranty or additional liability. End of terms and conditions appendix. How to apply the Apache license to your work. To apply the Apache license to your work, attach the following boilerplate notice with the fields enclosed by brackets, replaced with your own identifying information. Don't include the brackets. The text should be enclosed in the appropriated comment syntax for the file format. We also recommend that a file or class name and description of purpose be included on the same printed page as the copyright notice for easier identification within third-party archives. Copyright ID name of copyright owner, licensed under the Apache license, version 2.0 the license. You may not use this file except in compliance with the license. You may obtain a copy of the license at Ipuru Apache Org Licenses License 2.0 unless required by applicable law or agreed to in writing. Software distributed under the license is distributed on an as-is basis, without warranties or conditions of any kind, either express or implied. See the license for the specific language governing permissions and limitations under the license.